Right, thank you. So the next item on the agenda today is the annual programme, the programme of change progress reports, which is the main internal transformation programme that's going on within West Yorkshire Police, and is clearly one of the ways that we hope to achieve more efficiencies, or the main way I should say, around sort of meeting some of the financial pressures that we will have moving forward as well. So in terms of the updates, John, would you like to start, please?
Yeah, Commissioner, as you're aware, and thank you for that, it's our programme of change which is aimed at improving public service and delivery of our service to the public, but also the efficiency and effectiveness of our service in order to save money. So I'll just go through the progress over the last year around some of the headline projects that have been delivered. So the highlights from the programme of change are that we're on target to reach our recruitment ambition of 600 new constables by the end of the financial year. By December we've already appointed 376, and 9% of those are from a BAME background. The positive action campaign continues, and you'll have seen that on social media and a variety of other methods locally and regionally. But we also have an internal inclusion strategy that we're now developing and implementing for the recruitment, retention and progression of staff throughout our organisation. All of the projects over the last year have been reviewed to ensure that they align with the Police and Crime Plan priorities that you've just relaunched and the national policing priorities. We heard earlier in the meeting around the handheld devices and the rollout of those to frontline officers. And you also heard about the body-worn video camera project that is working to combat criminality and support victims and witnesses. We're grateful for your support around the ANPR project, the automatic number plate recognition system that's rolled out across West Yorkshire, and we're pleased to say that we've put 130 additional new road safety cameras in that ANPR programme, along with equipping 40 new police vehicles. So we've got a lifetime mobile capacity, and that again makes this road safer for the road users, but also takes criminality's access to the road system. In terms of our external inspectorate, Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, we've picked up the recommendations through the safeguarding inspection, and over the last year we've worked incredibly hard on ensuring that we're protecting the most vulnerable by implementing all of those recommendations. We've also just launched and started work on our Force Crime Management Unit, which is a mix of internal and publicly facing access into the police to enhance our service delivery for the investigation of crime reports and for the initial recording of crimes. We've developed and expanded the work around our Abusive Images Unit to safeguard children and young people. And we've also recently completed the development of a regional imaging unit to ensure that we've got the right skills for the modern policing environment. In the Regional Scientific Support Department, we've had a programme of work around regional scientific support criminal investigators and around the prisoner intelligence units and some other regional crime unit work that are all small individual programmes of work but collectively have delivered some transformational saving. We've also then been working with external consultants on Project Fusion, which is our back office programme of work, which is a very significant piece of work across the organisation over the coming months. We've been able to take cashable recurrent revenue savings from a variety of crime areas around economic crime, abusive images and homicide, homes and crime management unit, but we've also focused heavily upon the non-pay, non-staff budgets, and I'm pleased to report in the last year we've taken £7.3 million away from non-pay, which has enabled us to keep frontline service delivery at the levels we can. So as we go forward, there's a whole programme management system and 30 projects of work ongoing, but we've clustered them into 6 key areas of work for us over the next 12 to 24 months. around digital policing, around our local policing footprint and capability to local communities, the specialist capabilities that we need to provide in a variety of different policing environments, business delivery, the back office functions, the collaborative work both regionally, nationally and locally, and then our people ambition and building a workforce with the right skills for the future. So you're aware that we've saved £147 million over the last number of years, but we still have up to £30 million still to save as we go forward in the next 4 to 5 years. So the challenges are significant, but we need to balance the service delivery with the saving of money to make sure that we've got the right sort of programmes of work that don't impact upon or minimise the impact upon the communities of West Yorkshire. I suppose lastly, all of the programmes of work have equalities and human rights impact assessments alongside them, and we work throughout any change programme with the unions and the associations to ensure we minimise the impact upon our staff. But I come back to Project Fusion, and 1 or 2 areas of work over the coming months will be challenging for our employees, challenging for the organisation, but we'll work constantly with the unions and the associations to step through it as best we can. I think that's where we are with the update on the last 12 months and some of the touch on the programmes that are going to take us forward in the next 12 to 24 months.
Thank you for that. Just before perhaps looking more specifically at 1 or 2 areas, so you've touched on there at the end, John, around the financial challenge that we've got. So in consideration of the budget at the moment, you'll be aware that I'm looking to use reserves to balance the budget for next year. But as you say, there's still then a challenge of about 30 million or so on current projections over the next 3 to 4 years after that. Given that I will be looking to set a precept to maximise the police council tax, the £5 cash limit that is available to West Yorkshire, because we are one of the lowest precepting areas, to carry on that sustained recruitment of police officers and protecting PCSOs and some of our police staff. Are you confident that we can achieve that challenge on the basis of still wanting to recruit at the level that we need to get some of that visibility back into neighbourhood policing and other frontline policing areas?
Yeah, it's absolutely operationally imperative that we recruit in the level in which we're doing now and which we propose to you, that you're putting into the budget to deliver the service to the public of West Yorkshire. And yes, we're confident that over the coming 4 years we'll be able to find the efficiency savings within the organisation to meet that £30 million sort of deficit to the budget. And it is that operational balance of needing to provide service, visibility, reassurance right now, as well as at the same time delivering efficiencies in order to sustain the recruitment.
Yeah, well thanks for that, and I make that point because what I don't want to do, if at all possible, is have to rein back on the sort of recruitment profile that we need to try and achieve over that period.
No.
Okay, thanks for that. So a bit more specifically then, could you say a little bit more around 4 areas: the Force Crime Management Unit, Abusive Images Unit, Regional Imaging Unit and Transformational Back Office? The reason why I mentioned those is because in the areas of recruitment, positive action, ANPR, safeguarding are areas that I've had quite a big involvement in, so a bit more info on those other areas would be appreciated.
So the Force Crime Management Unit in the coming months will be the single repository for the initial recording of crime. So when people initially ring the police, they'll be put through straight to there and get a fully qualified accredited investigative capacity to give them the right advice at the right time. Obviously, if there's deployment is needed, that will occur in a normal way through the command and control systems. At the moment, it's also providing that central review and corporacy and consistency of service provision around how we investigate and finalise crimes. So in simple terms, there was a lot of people overviewing crime investigations spread throughout the organisation. We've now brought less of them, cheaper, to two sites on the east and the west of the force to provide a specialist and more efficient service to the public, and it'll have benefits in the future around, as I said, crime recording. So that's about how, as with many other forces, we manage the criminal investigations and manage to give the best possible contact to members of the public. Abusive images has been, as you're well aware from other areas that you've had oversight of, about child sexual exploitation, child abuse and indecent images of children, has been a very difficult and challenging increase in volume, an increase in the use of the internet, and beneficially the increased availability and access that we have in criminal investigations to pursue those offenders. But again, it comes with some capacity building. So we have now a smaller abusive images unit at the centre of the organisation, which then feeds out into more local abusive image specialist officers who deal with the criminality alongside the local Safeguarding Children's Board, the local Safeguarding Children's Services, to enable we're in the communities dealing with those people committing those offences. So it's necessary, although difficult and highly technical, but it's necessary as part of our continued drive to safeguard children that we brought in a new system around that, which has given us a more local understanding and local buy-in. The regional imaging unit is the second stage of a programme of work across the Yorkshire and the Humber to try and bring together the imaging facilities, digital and forensic imaging services. And again, we've brought cashable savings out of that to restructure and provide a more corporate service, and it's been another benefit of the Regional Scientific Support Service that I'm aware you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And then the largest ones I've alluded to is the transformational back office. Previously we had two programmes of work. One was about corporate services and how we reviewed those, and then the other was around trying to see if we could get an integrated shared service across the organisation. We've brought those two programmes of work together now under what we call Project Fusion. Quite simply, it's a holistic review of all of the financial, technological, corporate services, HR services and business and asset services across all of West Yorkshire to ensure that they are the most efficient possible we can make them. So we've had an initial outline business case worked up, and we're now working on a very short-term basis with a firm of consultants who provide us a speed of delivery and an independence and an impartiality that's beneficial to look at all of those back office facilities, both in transformational change around IT and infrastructure, but also in terms of structure and people and numbers and full-time equivalents as to who's fulfilling those roles. So it is in many ways difficult for our staff because some of them have been under a number of review projects and there's another one coming down the line to them. But it's imperative and important to make sure that we take as much efficiency as we can in that back office facility to ensure that the front line is protected and carries on delivering the frontline service. So there, I think the ones you alluded to, some of them are comparatively small, but certainly, excuse me, the Project Fusion is a large programme of work that will take months to deliver.
Okay, and so this is very much looking at the internal services within West Yorkshire Police.
Yes.
As you know, we've recently established a Tri-Services Collaboration Board. Are you confident that the processes that are being looked at here might have some opportunities around extending some of this into the emergency services collaboration? Yes,
the operational lead on it, ACC Andy Battle, as you're well aware, sits upon the Tri-Services Board amongst the emergency services, and then he and I both also sit on the Yorkshire and Humber and the North Eastern Forces collaborative boards as well. So everything we do in this programme is always with an eye upon the opportunities for the Tri-Services collaboration, and then always with an eye for the opportunities with other forces in the region for collaboration with them. So it's a bit about fitting the jigsaw pieces together. This for us is getting the efficiency as tight and the service delivery as best as we possibly can, in order that we can then bolt into those other collaborative processes when they come.
Okay, thanks for that. Just going back a little bit to the abusive images unit, you know, and I appreciate that this is difficult territory in terms of the, well, not only the type of images, but I guess the volume as well. Are there good processes in place around welfare of staff and making sure that, you know, they are supported as much as possible in this difficult role they have to undertake?
Yeah, all the abusive image unit staff, along with certain other categories of employees, have got access and regular appointments with the occupational health unit, and also confidential access to psychologists outside of the organisation if they choose to take them up. We've just got a piece of work now as well, reviewing all of the other safeguarding staff as well, who have to deal with some difficult and traumatic pieces of work, to make sure that we are best equipped to support them. We've got a third piece of work that we're just looking at nationally with across the region around what's the long-term impact upon officers and staff for repeatedly having to deal with such issues. But yes, we've got welfare and support in place, but it's a growing area, and therefore our welfare support needs to grow exponentially with it.
Yeah, okay, that's reassuring to hear, thank you. And then finally, you did touch on it, John, but it's just reassurance around the wide variety of work that I accept that is going on here, but not losing sight of the police and crime plan and the outcomes that we've agreed to try and bring about over the next 4 or 5 years, and obviously taking account of the national vision as well.
Yeah, they're all, as the police and crime plans come out again, the programmes of work are assessed against the objectives of the police and crime plan, and then they take cognizance of the national policing priorities and the strategic policing priorities as well. Again, it's clear in terms of protecting the most vulnerable and supporting victims and witnesses and gaining efficiency. That's at the heart of what it's aimed at.
Okay, I don't have any further questions on that area unless there's anything else you want to add.
That's it, thank you.
Okay, thank you.